A melody of silence. Loneliness whispered into the ear of silence. I am so alone, he said to her. Why does love so quickly turn to sorrow? She glanced at him, turned away, then crept out of his lounge upstairs. Loneliness looked at the slow-moving hands on his clock. It seemed to him that the clock's face was a mirror reflecting his own face, or maybe the face of his twin, time. He counted time in a metronome of sleepless minutes. The gaslight flickered and the hand of the clock told him that it was late. It was the hour of loneliness, the hour of his solitude, the hour of the wind rustling through the trees. Upstairs he thought he heard silence moving in the muffled bedroom. A dark lullaby followed her, for silence bore him one son, sadness. Sometimes when the moonlight shone through the crack in the curtain, sadness would keep him awake at night, crying in the scullery. He'd feed the kid women and raw whiskey to shut him up, and it would work for a while. His son would drop off, and loneliness could doze in his armchair, his shadow spreading like a stain across the crimson carpet. In the deepening gloom of his corner, he'd sit in the dying firelight as night covered the house in its shroud. At times silence whispered to him sweet nothings. They'd hold one another, squeeze into his single bed, make love. But these days the only things between loneliness and silence was sadness, and loneliness could support neither. The perfume of silence lingered in the room as the incense of sleep loitered in his mind. He was in love with silence's sister, sleep, but she would not relent. Silence was again pregnant. Loneliness was sure it was his child. He wondered whether it would be a girl or boy. Perhaps Silence would have a daughter. She'd hold her in her arms, this child of loneliness, and carry her softly, quietly, like a prayer floating in the vast stillness of his mind.